Good morning and welcome to week 1 of your back pain relief series, Relief Codes. We're going to start today with your first warm-up set, and then you'll see below this an opportunity to practice a couple of extra back bends, and we might have some puppy visits throughout because Irie just can't stay away from Mama. Oh, my honey. All right, we're going to do this together. Let's get started. Okay. Come here, pup. You can go right there. Good girl. Okay, so you don't need props for this practice, but it would be ideal if you have one. So in case you don't have a stretch band, a booty band, a resistance band, you'll see also below a link to directly purchase these. And then also if you need more props, you'd like to start building your own home apparatus setup, you can also click the link below that takes you to my one prop shop, and all that does is show you my favorite links to props on Amazon for practice if you'd like to keep practicing along with me, or think at some point in the future you'd like to do a program with me and you want to have your prop shop all set up, ready to go. Okay, so in the meantime, I'll show you every single exercise with and without the band, but it is the only thing you need. So the first thing is no prop necessary. We're coming to stand, and we have a little lunge series for warm up. So you'll have one leg front, one leg back. If staying balanced for a moment while I talk is challenging for you, just stay up front. I have plenty of clients who need to start standing, and the moment they step back, they have to move. So listen for a moment. We'll be in this position, moving with the arms stacked, and I really would like for you to focus on pushing the bottom and the top arm against each other because it's going to activate the shoulders, and we want the shoulders involved as we head towards any kind of a back bending practice because most of those have to do with arms overhead or sometimes arms behind us, but either way, we need to have the shoulder carriage open, the heart really blossoming, and the upper back agile. So we start with the shoulders and then move all the way around. But what's happening in the lower body is a posterior chain support, so the glutes, the hamstrings. And this one will surprise you because it has more to do with the front leg than the back one. So again, the arms are stacked and pressing, and as we lower down, I want you to think of your front foot finding the four corners. Now we did that during the Toned in 2 series. In case you didn't practice that, we're looking at the pad right beneath the big toe mound, so not the big toe itself, but just behind it, right behind the pinky toe, and then instead of being at the back of the heel, we're in the very front of the heel, right before it hits the arch. So those four corners, right and left, inside and outside the foot. And as we lower the body, we're going to push the ground down, and you'll feel a rebound, which is a major principle in yoga practice, rooting and rebounding. And the rebound is something that is experienced and then you participate in as you feel the rise through the center of your limbs and allow that to make you more buoyant. All right? So as we lower, we'll push down in this front foot, and as we lift, we're going to pull back as if we're trying to tug the mat behind us. All right, so it looks something like this, and you may not even notice the difference, but you'll feel it. So pushing down as you lower, and then try to tug the mat back as you lift, and you're really going to feel that underbutt engage a little bit. All right, so here we go. Let's take it down. Lower, lower, press into the ground. Tug back as you lift up. Again, we're going to 12. So this is 2, and we have 10 more. Lower to the ground, press with the shoulders. I know everything fires on this one. That's a warm-up. The goal of the warm-up, right? And 4. Now, while you're here, think head over heart over center of pelvis so that you're really stacked, and the back leg's just kind of along for the ride. It's like getting a big psoas stretch, big front of the thigh stretch, and keep it moving. So that back leg's just kind of bending because you lower to the ground, and then lengthening up, kind of strengthening intentionally, because the front leg's doing all this work. All right, we have, I think, 4 more. Push down, pull back to lift up. 3, and woo, this one fires everything up. 2, pull back. 1 more, lower, pull, step forward, and we're just gonna walk back and forward on the mat for about 10 seconds. So what we wanna do is keep moving, 1, and 2, just take 10 seconds between sides, and we're doing pair sets. So, or supersets if you're a weightlifter. If you love the gym, we're supersetting this warm up. So we're pairing this with another exercise right afterwards. There will be 10 seconds between this exercise and the next one, and then we'll take 30 seconds to a minute break. Yeah, we'll take that together. But normally, I'm going to have you press pause so that, you know, we don't take up so much bandwidth, and you don't have to listen to me run my gab. and then you can start again as soon as your 30 seconds, 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes rest period is done. Let's get started on the other side. Definitely more than 10 seconds there. All right, so we're stepping back, switch which arm is on top so that you strengthen evenly. And then as we go down, the front foot presses down. As we go up, the front foot pulls back, and you feel those under glutes firing. Stay stacked, head, heart, and hips, and pull. We have 10. Tug on the ground. Push down, pull back to lift up. For 8, keep pressing those arms together, up and down. 7, push, pull. Pushing down, pulling the lift up. And 6, keep it going. 5, not traditional yoga, but really our whole lives are yoga, right? 4, want to know more about that? DM me. I'll spin your mind around on it. 3, and 2, pull back. 1 more time, push and pull. And if you think about it, yoga is over 5,000 years old, so it's the original exercise. Everything was kind of built off that. Okay, so now we have another 10 seconds, so let's use it for transition. Again, this is an exercise we don't need the band for, so we're coming to the ground. And, excuse me, forearms. So what's important about this, and of course there's going to be a little bigger break here because I'm demonstrating and talking. Inner arm presses down from elbow to thumb, inner thumb to pointer finger and tip. We don't want to get lax here because the second you do, you lose your footing, right? So we just worked on the 4 corners of the feet. These are our new feet in a way, and we really want the front of the heel, the base of the toes, and the length of the toes engaged with the ground for stability, and hugging the midline to give us a center support. So from here, we walk ourselves into a low plank, tuck the toes, and we're just walking it out, all right? Alternating sides and being deliberately unsunk. So don't be sunk between those shoulder blades. Stay out of them. And we're going to 20. So each time, press through the heel, squeeze through the thigh to lift up, and just keep moving. Think about pulling the navel to the spine and pulling the side waist as if you have little hooks, right in front of your obliques towards the sides of the back body. This is 5 because right and left is 1. So yes, it's longer than it seems. Whew, but there's a burn here. I don't know if you feel it. Those shoulders, the chest, the triceps, and definitely the quads and the glutes. So much support here. Woo! And 8, 9, 1 more each side, and then we take a little break. We walk the knees forward, sit the hips back on the heels, roll the shoulders. Take a moment. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, take it down. And let's get right forward again for the second half of 20. Okay, so not a big break there. Maybe like 5 seconds. Tuck the toes. Go again for 10. Remember to stay out of those shoulders. Keep hugging the biceps towards the midline under the chest for 8. Reach the fingers long. Spread the toes wide. And 6. Keep going. Try and take a grin to it. 5. And 4. Get out of those shoulders. I know they're tired already. 3. Woo! 2. 1 more each side. Okay, so come back here. We have a longer break. Now, this may be your first time approaching any work like this, so I want it to be something that you say, it's okay. This is a long enough workout today if I just go straight through with Lila. In the future, I would say consider pressing pause right now, taking your 30, 60, 90, or 120-second break, and then repeating what we just did. That creates a superset, going back to back and then repeating again. I say only 2 because it's a warm-up. If you want to make this your workout for the day, then maybe do 3, maybe do 4. Otherwise, 2 is plenty. And today, if it's your first time integrating any work like this, go straight through with me, and that's plenty as well. Okay, so next up, we have a series of standing work. Again, no band needed. The band's kind of towards the end of the practice, and then it'll be definitely incorporated a lot more in tomorrow's warm-up, which is more about the upper body. Okay, so coming to standing, we're doing something super simple. It's called a squat walk, or a square squat walk, sorry. We're kicking the pelvis back. So again, it's about trying to tilt the tailbone out, the pubic bone away. The reason we're working like that is twofold. 1, we really want to get the work into the glutes and a little into the quads, secondary, so primary, secondary. And while your hips are back, that means your pubic bone is stretched away from your navel, which means you're in a spinal extension. Everything in the back, right, is related to the front of the body. So the front of the spine faces this way. This is extension of the spine. This is flexion of the spine. Back bends are extension. So there's that element, but also when we're doing this work, we're going to push the pubic bone away. And then this is from one of my Pilates instructors who really helped me to understand what we're doing in the spine in Pilates, which is almost entirely derived from yoga, and just put a little like extra strength spin on it. So we're looking for extension, holding that pubic bone push, pulling on the rectus in that direction, and then rather than just sinking in the back, we want to take the 2 sides of the ribs where they splay and use the top of the rectus to squeeze them together, squeeze those sides of the ribs together, and almost sort of pin them behind, under and behind the heart. So there's a difference there between suctioning up, and like look what happens to my pubic bone when I suction up. Everything curls. So stretching the front of the spine takes a lot of intention and strength. So we have the duck butt that comes from the pubic bone reaching back, and we want to keep that as we exhale, close the ribs, and then sort of pin them under the heart and up. And if you're doing like I'm doing and pushing the pubic bone down, you'll feel how the rectus wants to drag, if I let go, the pubic bone forward and up. So you have to be intentional in the strength and the use of your lower back muscles to help you find this press, which is different from what we're doing on the ground when we practice in Pilates. It's not about duck butting, it's about pushing the sacrum into the earth. But for our purposes today, we are doing a little tilt back. And then squeezing the ribs in and up and using the top and the bottoms of the rectus to pin the spine in 2 directions. And then also sinking the hips behind the heels, getting into this stance. All right, nice and low. And then I'll show it to you from the side and the front. We're stepping right together, back together, left together, front together, and then we go the other way. So we go left together, left back together, right and right. Let's keep going. So we have right, right back, left, left front. Notice I sort of pause so that I get the stance in the middle, right and right. Now keep going to the right side. Watch on the way back, feel how you can roll through the foot, stretch the Achilles, and left, left. Because you kind of, for me anyways, when I'm first getting into my back bends, I really like to come up onto my toes and push from the whole posterior chain, which includes my calves. Let's keep going. Right and right, left. Keep those abs glued in 2 directions. Left and left. Let's do 2 more rounds. All right. Here we go. To the right. Right. Left and left. Left. Left back. Right. Right front. And right. Step right back. Left. Step left front. Left. Step left back. And right. Step right front. Now we will reverse that. Give me 1 second. Hey, leave your feet alone. You're okay. You're okay. Okay? Leave your feet alone. Oh my goodness. Normally I put my puppies away for practice, but they're all a little anxious this morning. Hey, leave your foot alone. And anxiety means a lot of feet licking. So I apologize if that's coming through the audio, but I just love them so much. And so I like to keep them around me when they're showing me that like a change in the wind is giving them a little anxiety. And sometimes that means they're part of the practice. All right, so let's set this up again to start left and back. You know, before we had gone, we had gone right, stepping back. So now we're going to start left and start left, stepping forward. All we're doing, changing directions and making each side exchange and share dominance, all right? So again, feet about hip width, send the pubic bone back, keep it there, pull the abdomen, squeeze the ribs in and up against the back of the heart, sink the hips back and a little deeper, and here we go. We have left and front, right and back, right and front, woo, left and back. And we go again. We're just doing 5. Left, step front, right and back, right, step front, left, step back. 3 more. Keep it moving. Try and check in with your posture and positioning, right? Have you sort of lost the tilt back? Are you starting to move your knees forward over the toes? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just not what we're doing right now. So left, left front, right, right back. Have you lost that engagement? You should feel strong in the mid to upper back if you're really working it. 1 more set, keep going. Left, left front, right and back. Last part of it, right, right front, left and back. Okay, so we have 10 seconds here and then we're moving on into the VMO squat. What's important about this one is to, again, find that position, hips back, solar plexus glued in and up to the back of the heart. And then we're turning out about 35 degrees, not even 45, not even halfway to 90. And then stretching a heel out. So if you're on carpet, you should be in good shape, although you might want a sock just to slide, maybe not build too much electricity in your hair. And if you're on wood, same thing, or linoleum, anything hard. If you're outside on the concrete, you might struggle a little on this one, so you might need to create some kind of a smooth surface so that you're not, I don't know, buffing your heels unexpectedly. Okay, so we have this position. We're tilting the pelvis back, so it's a little Pilates stance. And then again, find the four corners of your feet for stability first. Solar plexus glues in and up to the back of the heart, little tack job. And then right heel comes out at the angle that it's facing. Now, notice as I lower, I am not going to push my hip out because that's not stability. I want to push my hips straight back, which is what makes this kind of a rhombus shape because we have the hips, or what is that, like a trapezoid? Hips go back evenly and then go out into this, yeah, is that a trapezoid? I don't know my geometry anymore. And then squeeze straight up without popping the hip out, so come right back up. We have 10, so let's go 10, and press through the inner edge of that foot to come up so that you're not falling to the outside of the foot and losing that center. 8, hips go back, rise up. 7, strengthen. And 6, you should feel the top of that quad, the top of the knee, woo, and the underbutt. 5, they support each other. 4, strengthen up. Stay strong in the abs. 3, lengthen and deepen. 2, hug that muscle in and up. 1 more time, take it out. Stand it strong. And there was something else I wanted to say about that. Oh, what you may notice is that we're not activating the hip flexors, which I have so much to say about. They should really always kind of be along for the ride. Your psoas and your iliopsoas connection, so your iliacus and your psoas, are not really meant to be firing. They're kind of these dormant muscles that connect the upper and the lower body. They're there kind of like holding the line. In the event that your nervous system says it's time to fight or fly or freeze, right? Then you can utilize those muscles. They're sort of your backup energy panel. In the meantime, what should create flexion and extension are sort of the bigger muscle groups, right? Your quads help you engage and flex the whole leg forward. At the same time, your abs engage and pull, right? Everything in, up, and back, and that's flexion. Extension can include the quads, the hamstrings, and the glutes, the underbutt. And again, abs a little bit can pull in and up, but also back of the barrel of the core, these back muscles, your paraspinals, engage and create extension. So flexion and extension are all supported from what we perceive to be the core through the full length of the core, which includes the thighs and actually runs all the way up to the base of the jaw. We'll talk about that another day. So notice that we are not hip flexing, going into this sort of panicked state of movement and sending any mixed messages to the muscles. The muscles are working optimally, and that is what's going to help us prime the pump for back bends that A, don't hurt, and B, are effective in reducing overall lower back and mid and upper back, full back body pain. All right, so set yourself up, again, 35 degrees in each direction, hands at the heart, hips go back evenly as if both feet were on the ground, and then strengthen up through the inner edge of that standing foot, almost like you're gas pedaling, right? And 9, strengthen up, 8, and rise, 7, press. 6, push back, pull the solar plexus in and up to the back of the heart. And 5, stay even in the legs. 4, and wow, my underbutt is talking to me. 3, top of the knee really supported by the draw up of the quad. 2, oh yes. 1 more time, take it back, strengthen it up. And now you have a big break. So again, you can press that pause button and decide to take your break 30, 60, 90 seconds, or a full 2 minutes. Try not to go over that. Keep your body moving, keep the cardiovascular element of this work involved so that you get strength and stamina, which come together to form not just mobility, but agility, right? We can move freely and quickly through our lives as needed, and then slow down when we choose to, and nothing about our pattern behaviors gets to stand in the way of those choices about how we move in our body, because we're doing this work. It's so vital, so valuable. So if you decide you're ready to do a superset or a twin set, then press pause, take the break, and then start this cycle again. You have your square walk and your box squats, okay? Oh, my goodness. So now, if you're going on, I'll start setting up. You can still enjoy the break. Now is when we would need the band. So again, if you do this work today, you don't have the band, and you're like, I could give myself a little more run for my money here in the strength department. And then pop down into that link, click it, order it, easy enough, comes to you free in 4 days, or maybe with paid shipping tonight or tomorrow. And you can do this all over again. All right, for those of you that have it, we're bringing it above the knee, never behind the joint. And then I think this one is so fun because we do, if you're familiar with dead bug, it's kind of fun, it's kind of boring. Even if it's really challenging you, it's still got this, what's going on here? So this one to me is exciting because it's got sort of these different elements to it that are unfamiliar. And at the same time, we're right back in telling which muscles to move the hips versus allowing this sort of bypassing of our intelligence, bypassing of our mind-body motor elevation, and just letting things happen to us. We're not victims here, we're warriors. We start with the leg up, really engaging the quads. We start with a knee bent, and then this hand, the opposite arm from leg. So this is my right leg, this is my left arm. Right arm's gonna come to the ground, shoulder presses down, and then don't be lazy here. Lengthen down from the inner edge of the elbow through the pointer finger and the thumb to really engage all the muscles of the arm. And then keeping a neutral spine. So notice there's a little rise in the low back. Just strengthen the upper end of the abdomen like we did setting up for our squat series, and sort of reduce a little bit the hollow behind the low back, but not so much that you get rid of the natural curve of the spine. Now from here, this elbow, the left arm, is floating. It is not resting on the ground, and there's some tension in this arm because I'm going to press that leg out using the glutes and the quad to move the leg long, and as I resist coming back home, I lower the opposite leg. So it's a little we're a little leg machine here. Leg comes up, we extend. Leg comes down, we bring the other one in. Now notice that I'm not just letting the band pull me back in, I'm resisting, which means I'm using my glute to go out and my glute to keep from hip flexor just popping back in. Let's keep moving here. Let's go, that was 3, so let's go to 12. We have 9. Your left shoulder should really be feeling this too. 8, notice I said we're warming up all the components for back bending. 7, woo! and 6. And the free leg's really getting to trial out which muscles are moving and how, and if it's proper engagement, or if your hip flexor, your psoas, is improperly powering on here. And 5, pull it in, keep that right shoulder down. 4, keep the back of the neck long. 3, and in. 2, you might feel the abdomen really fire up here. 1 more, and in. Now, take both hands inside, push the arms overhead. Feel the difference between a cold right shoulder and a warm left one. Bring the arms back in for 4, just 5 of these. And 3, 2, resist. 1 more, press everything out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in, release. Whew, switch sides. So the 10 seconds that it takes to recover are really found in the side switching. And we just look at the setup one more time. So hand comes in, thumb stays out, because that gives us sort of it keeps it from sliding down the wrist, right? And it gives us sort of an anchor. Now the elbow again is hugged to the ribs, not on the ground, so that the shoulder's nice and fired up. And then the left arm is long on the ground, just like the right one was. The shoulder pressing back and down into the earth, engaging the serratus muscle behind the shoulder blade, just towards the inner edge of or the outer edge of the spine. And then reach the thumb and the pointer finger down into the ground too. Now this knee is not going to come in so far beyond the hip, and the right leg goes to the sky. Make your hips heavy, your abs strong, and let's lower. As it lifts, press the other leg out. Engage the glutes and resist, and engage the quads and resist. We have 10 more. Extend, bring it in, and 9, lengthen. Really pay attention on your right leg now. Which muscles are recruiting to come up, to squeeze the glute to lengthen down, to engage the quad to come up, instead of hip flexor flexing, hip flexor holding, right? We don't want that kind of strain. So keep using the abs, keep using the quads, keep using the glutes. Let's do 4 more. Lengthen. That right shoulder should be talking to you. Check your points. Is your left shoulder down? Is your neck long? And 3, 2, 1 more. Bring it up. Bring it in. Both hands go inside and press, resist. 4. So again, you could be doing this without the band, and you'll still find plenty of work, but there's more to be had, of course, with some resistance added. 1 more. Extend, bring it in. Now this time everything goes out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it home and relax down. Take the band off. So we have 10 seconds before we go to the other side, and this last one is definitely challenging. It is a sort of a squat lunge hybrid and deadlift combo. Now, the reason I prefer the band to, say, like a dumbbell weight or something like that is, one, if you, like in the last exercise, we needed something to create a pulley in both directions. So if you were to have like a dumbbell in one hand and, say, a ankle weight on the other leg, it's not going to create a system as if there were muscles, tendons, and ligaments functioning between the upper and lower body in this void, in this space. This does that. Whereas adding weight to sort of the ends of your levers, right, strapping something on the ankle, putting something in the hand, really weighs it down out in the distance, away from the body. We don't want to weigh it down out there. We want to strengthen so that when we take that resistance away, the ability to get out there doesn't have a fight, right? As opposed to just getting forced out there and then trying to fight our way back home. That's a whole different protocol and purpose. So that's why I prefer the band. You're welcome to try it any way you want to, but there is a method to this madness, and the band is part of that. Okay, so this one's really interesting and a lot of fun to me. You can certainly do it without the band, and I'll show you how, but let me show you with first. So, because you might have the band and want to try it and then be like, you know what, I'm going to start without resistance and build up to that. All right, so these toes lining up with sort of the inner edge of the front heel, and then notice where your back heel ends up and put your toes right about there. Because we're doing this pigeon lunge with our body forward, right? So don't be in this hunch that I was just in. Hips back, abs in and up, and we're gonna come down, tap the knee to the floor. Now, if this is too far for you, maybe get a yoga block or something as you build up to how far you can take that knee down, right? I like the yoga block for that purpose exactly, because if today this is where you go, then maybe in a week or two, this is where you go, right? And you keep having these sort of recalibrations that tell you how far you've come until the ground is where you end up. There's also links for yoga blocks down below. All right, so with the pigeon lunge, there's just a little resistance here. You should feel the hamstring fired up. We pigeon lunge, we rise back up, lower the chest forward, and stand strong. So one more time with the band. We come down, tap, hips kick back, chest forward, rise up, and that left glute should be on fire. Now, if you don't have the band or want to take it away, hands behind the head loosely, not pulling on it. We tap down as low as we can, and then it's a good morning. Forward and up, but it's kind of a staggered, like a B stance. Good morning, as opposed to feet even, right? A little balance, definitely reaching out from the glute rather than pushing it back so that all the work fires right there in the underbutt. So pick which way you're gonna practice, and let's go. I'll work with the band and stepping back, find that position again, let's move. We have 10, rise, and pick it up. 9, lift, reach forward, rise. Now, when you lower, try not to pick up that front heel. If it's picking up, you need to not go as low or step a little further back. And, well, we have 7, and reach forward with the heart, keep the chest open, the eyes up. That tells the whole body what to do, right? If you're looking down, you're gonna start hunching. We have 5. Lengthen forward, pick it up. 4, remember if you don't have the band, you're doing a good morning, really reach forward from the chest here. Don't pop the hips back as much. 3, and pick it up. Woo! 2, I actually did these in my workout yesterday, so my butt's really on fire. 1 more time. Take it down, lengthen it out, come up, and walk it out just a little bit before we switch sides. I do want to give you the grace of releasing all that grip in the left underbutt, and then we move it to the right side. So if you use the band on the other side, partially or the whole way through, make sure you do that on this side. Even though you might be thinking, wow, that was really challenging and I'd like to back off, we definitely want to keep the strength, the tone, the movement even in the body. So maybe next time when you do your second round, you don't use the band. But for this one, try and repeat exactly what you did on the other side. That way you balance the body, okay? So whichever one you started with, stay with it. And if you switched halfway through, make sure you do that now. All right, so toes line up kind of with the inner edge of the heel, and then find where that back heel is. Place the toes there. Get up nice and tall on that first one. Come down, tap the knee wherever you can, and hinge at the hips. Rise up for 9. And strengthen, lengthen, tone to deepen up. And 8. Woo! Hello, underbutt. Hello, hamstrings. Supporting posterior chain here. That's what lifts us away from the ground in our heart openers. And of course, the shoulders too. That's why we've been warming them up. Oh my goodness. And I believe we have 5 right here. If I skipped one, just thank me. If you want to do the extra one, if I did. I don't think I did, but anyhow, keep going. And 3, pick it up. Lower down, rise, lengthen out, and up. Let's do 2 more just in case. And if you're like, Lila, I've been counting because you were the one talking, and we're well on track here, and you don't want to do the last one, just make sure you're even on both sides of the body and call it good. All right, so that's your warm-up. If you've just gone straight through and you're like, that's good for me today, trust me, I get it. I'm on fire over here. And if you have been doing the pauses and now you're going to repeat, make sure you take your 30, 60, 90, 120 second break. Do this set again. Or if you've gone all the way through and you want to do it again, maybe take 2 to 3 minutes right now, have some water, walk around your home, your office, wherever you're practicing. Just let the heat pour through your body and show you how these repetitive movements of strength and balance have sort of set the stage for the way that you are moving your body in space. And then revisit the practice again and see what's elevated in the way your mind meets your muscle on the mat. I love me some alliteration. Okay, so this has been your lower body warm-up for the Relief Codes practice. This is going to be a 2-week session, and I look forward to hearing from you how this goes, how your back is feeling as a result of toning the proper muscle groups in a way that supports ease and relief in the low back, mid-back, upper back, all of it, but most of us are going around saying, my low back. And then how it informs the way that you move into some of these back-bending, heart-opening practices that we'll be doing together, and how you feel at the end of it all. Let me know. I can't wait to hear from you. All right? Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.